Today we will discuss about the blue question inside the chapter number 1. On page number 3 we will have question which of the following is matter. So here you can see there are certain things have been given: chair, air, love, smell, heat, almonds, thought, cold drink, smell of perfume. So here we can, what is matter? First of all we need to know it. Anything that occupies space and has mass is called matter. So here easily you can see matter exists in three states: solid, liquid and gas. Chair, almonds are form of matter in the solid state. Cold drink is a matter in liquid state. Air and smell of perfume are also matter in gaseous state. Now the sense of smell is not a matter, because it is not having any kind of space, or it is not having the mass. So a smell of substance cannot be classified as matter. If a smell contains something like perfume, right, so it can be, when it is contain any kind of smell, say perfume or any other things which gives a sense of certain kind of specific things, so then only we can consider matter. Now moving into the next question: give reason for the following observation. The smell of hot sizzling food reaches you several meters away, but to get the smell from cold food you have to go close. So here the concept of this diffusion have been applied. What is diffusion? Diffusion means when substance or matter diffuse from higher concentration to lower concentration by their own. So here diffusion increase when temperature increase. You know very well, if the temperature increase, then the kinetic energy also increase. If the kinetic energy is increased, then the movement of particle will also increase. So if the thing is having more temperature, then rate of diffusion will be high. So in case of hot food, the particles will move with the more kinetic energy. So the smell of hot sizzling food can be smell out from the several meter away. But if the food is cold, then we have to go close. Why? Because its kinetic energy will be less. So kinetic energy will be less, so the particle will not move ahead from the food. That is why we need to go close. I hope it is clear. Moving to the next question: a diver is able to cut through water in a swimming pool. Which property of matter does this observation shows? This observation shows matter is made up of particle, number one, and there is force of attraction between the particle. And also we can say this particles of matter have a space between them. Why? Because when the diver cut the water, that means there is some space, and after cutting the water molecules also again rejoin. So we can say the force of attraction between the particle is exist. Now moving ahead, comment upon following things. Rigidity, it can be expressed as the tendency of matter to resist the change. If you want to change anything, suppose you have a duster in your hand, and if you want to change the shape of duster, but since the duster is in solid state, right, so it resists your force. So rigidity is higher in the solid state and least in the gaseous state. Next thing is compressibility. Compressibility means to bring the particle closer by applying the force. So we cannot bring the particle of solid by applying the force, whereas we can bring the particle of gases by applying the pressure, by applying the force. So the compressibility will be highest in the solid. Now fluidity is the ability to flow. You know what can flow? The gases and the liquid can flow. By filling a gas of cylinder, solid and liquid fill the gas container according to their volume. But gas fill the entire container. Means solid and liquid. Here you can see solid is having the fixed volume, liquid is having the fixed volume. That means if 1 kg solid is there, that means that occupy the space which is occupied by, filled by 1 kg of material only. Similarly, if 1 liter liquid is there, that also occupy 1 liter space, right? But if you have even 100 gram of gas, right? So the gas of 100 gram will also occupy whether the cylinder is having 10 liter volume or 100 liter volume. Why? Because particle of gases can move randomly since it has more kinetic energy. I hope it is clear. शेप की बात करेंगे. Shape, the pattern arrangement of particle in the object gives the shape of the object. Solid have definite shape, liquid take the shape of container in which they are kept, and gases don't have any shape. Kinetic energy means it is the energy possessed by a particle due to its motion. So whenever any particle is in motion, it possesses a kind of energy that is called kinetic energy. Similarly, density means mass per volume. So mass upon volume is equal to density. Remember this formula. Now moving ahead, give reason. A gas fill completely the vessel in which it is kept. Why? Because the force of attraction between the particle of gas is very less. So the force of attraction is very less. Thus the gas particle move freely in all direction. Why? Because it has less force of attraction as well as more kinetic energy. Right? That is why a gas fills completely the vessel in which kept. Now, a gas exerts pressure on the wall of container. So here you can see the particle of gas move randomly in all direction at high speed since it has higher kinetic energy. As a result, the particle hit each other, right? Suppose there is a container. Suppose this is container and here are the gas particles. So when they hit each other, right? When they hit each other, they move in all directions. When they move in all direction, they also hit the wall. They also hit the wall of container with a force. Therefore gas exert pressure on the wall of container in which it is kept. A wooden table should be called a solid. Why? Because wooden table have definite shape and volume and it is very rigid, it cannot be compressed, right? So wooden table can be called solid. And what are the property of solid is followed by a wooden table. We can easily move our hand in air, but to do the same through a solid block of wood, we need a karate expert. As we know that particles of air have large spaces, right? They are apart from each other. So on the other hand, wood has little space since it is a solid. Also it is a rigid. For this reason, we can easily move our hand in air, but to do the same through a solid block of wood, we need a karate expert. Liquid generally have lower density as compared to solid, but you must have observed the ice float on the water. So here what I said, density, the concept of density is applied. Density equal to what is this? Mass upon volume. So the density of ice is less than the density of water, right? So what it comes out, the heavier substance or things will sink inside the water and the lighter substance float on the water. So ice is lighter than the equal volume of water. That is why it is float, since it has less density than the water. Now on the page number 9 there is questions. For any substance, why does the temperature remains constant during the change of state? What happened during the change of state? The temperature remains constant because all the heat whatever supplied to increase the temperature, it is utilizes in the changing the state by overcoming the force of attraction between the particle. Therefore this heat does not contribute in increasing the temperature. Here you can see, suppose you have water, right, and you need to boil it. First, when you are giving heat into the water, what will happen? First, that container will be heat up. Then after that, heat is transferred into the molecules of water. After some times, when the temperature reach 100 degrees Celsius, right, then what will happen? The molecules of the water will break, right, and converted into gas, right. So as more as heat we are giving, that heat is utilizing the water molecules to change into vapor. So that is why there is no more increase in the temperature. This is what asked in the question. I hope it is clear. Now suggest a method to liquefy atmospheric gases. You know, gases, when we decrease the temperature, when we decrease the temperature and increase the pressure, when we increase the pressure, the gases can be liquefied. These are the two factors by which we can liquefy the gases, right. That's it for blue questions. Hope you enjoyed the video.